And welcome back to Cavaliers Corner for episode 6. We've survived not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 6 episodes of Cavaliers Corner as we have our first one for 2021 as we welcome in the women's head coach for the volleyball team at Champlain, Saint-Lambert, Jason Manning. Coach, how you been?
I'm doing great, Mo. How you doing?
Well, it's almost spring, right? So
Yeah.
we have something to look forward to with the days getting a little bit longer and the weather's slightly
Exactly.
So we're looking forward to that, though, Coach. So, Coach, look, it's been a very unique situation for all of us worldwide. The pandemic has handcuffed
Indeed.
the world, in particular sports, in particular the CEGEP world, and, of course, for women's volleyball. From your perspective, you and your staff, how has it been going into the school semester back in the fall to where we are with this pandemic?
Oh man, it's been kind of a roller coaster of hope and getting our hopes dashed, and we were lucky enough to get a chance to get back in over the summer and kind of early fall. We were actually running practices and got to see the team and got to get everyone there, but that almost made it worse because it was such a good chemistry, such a good team that the season kept getting pushed back eventually to the point where it was like, well, there is none. So same thing, I think everyone, myself, the rest of the coaching staff, the team, everyone always feels like I guess your expectations, you keep changing them to the point where now I think the girls are just looking to play. They just want to play, practice. They want to get, they just want to get onto a court. Forget the season at this point. They put that one aside. They're just dying to practice their sport. So
when you look at your team, how was it from a mindset perspective when you had to inform them that there would be no season for the 2021 calendar year?
Well, I think unlike the fall sports, there was always hope. We kept on sort of pushing it. The guys like football and soccer, they had a really narrow window, and they were really, I think kind of resigned from the very beginning. For us, we thought, oh, okay, well, it's fine. By Christmas we'll be back up and running, and then it wasn't the case, and kept on going. So by the time it was officially no season, I think everyone already knew. And like I said, the expectations were kind of sliding where they thought, man, if we can get in a few exhibition games, and then it's, if we can get in one, if we can get in a practice at this point, they'll be happy. So it wasn't a big bombshell. They all knew it. They all saw it coming. So it wasn't that big of a deal.
So when you look at the challenges off the court now, how important was it to keep the girls, the team focused on their academics? And also, look, we're locked down, right? But to make sure that they have some sort of physical activity to keep themselves focused away from the books, to make sure that they are living a normal life as they can in a COVID world.
Yeah, as they can is the key statement there. Look, Mo, we're really lucky that we get to work with RTP, and they've been, managing the strength and conditioning. It's improv at home. They've planned a great program, but they don't have, a lot of people don't have the space and the equipment, so they've really had to shift on the fly. But they do a fantastic job. I got to be honest, keeping them engaged as the sort of lockdown continues is harder and harder, and everyone has it. I mean, I have it myself from sort of day job, that Zoom fatigue, where at the beginning everyone was ready to jump into team meetings and stuff like that, and as it goes on, we've really eased off on that to kind of go, look, well, we know that everyone spends their day staring at a screen. So I think they're glad to get together to do a workout. Everything else has been really tough, and I think they're really struggling with. Luckily, they're doing very well, but struggling from a motivation standpoint, even to get the academics done. It's just tough being in the same. You're spending your day in your bedroom or your home office is. I think it's tough. They're athletes, man. They want to get out and they want to play.
No, there's no question. Right? I think that's the same thing being echoed by all the varsity coaches that I've spoken to so far, that it's tough for the athletes because you're talking about 17, 18-year-old, 19-year-old kids who are trying to live that CEGEP lifestyle, right? To experience that whole thing that you and I've experienced when we were younger, and now they can't do so because they're missing almost a step going from maybe first year to second year without really having an interaction with human contact in person.
Yeah, I've got girls who are gonna, graduate this year, who got basically half a season, and that was it. And they're gonna be gone. They're gonna be gone from the program, and that's essentially their whole CEGEP life. I mean, even the social aspects of it takes a little while to get into. So for a lot of them, they kind of became adults, and that those sort of those CEGEP experience years are basically passing them by. They're applying to universities, and they're going to be gone. That's really tough. I have kids actually at Champlain. My own children are at Champlain,
Right.
and same situation, man. Their whole CEGEP experience is spent at home.
You're the experience, right? Dad, you're the
Yeah,
experience for us right
it's
now,
crazy.
That's
Yeah,
you're my
it's
BFF,
crazy.
right? So
Yeah,
but
yeah.
when you
Sad
look at your
situation.
when you look at your senior class that would have played this past season, how tough was it for them? Because of course, look, you can perhaps parlay your CEGEP career to a university opportunity. So how tough was it for them to not have any game film to showcase to universities at the next level?
Wow. You know, we record a lot. We record a lot of practices. We kind of record everything. We're a little bit insane about it, in fact. And I think people always wonder, like, man, why are you recording practices? Turns out that wasn't a terrible idea.
Hmm.
We had to patch together. We did it for one of the players had requested for their application to a university team. Could we piece together some stuff? And we managed with older game film and some practice film, but man, it's slim pickings. And it's the same thing for athletes who are applying to Champlain and reaching out to me. Normally, I'd be checking out tournaments and dropping in and sort of scouting, and I got nothing. And if you say, "Hey, do you have any game film?" Everyone goes, "Where would I get that from?"
So, Coach, from your perspective, right? From that was my next question too. From the recruiting perspective for Champlain,
Yeah.
what are the challenges knowing that, again, high school kids don't have film, and how do you sell a kid to come to Champlain when they can't physically come to the campus to see firsthand how it plays out for them?
So tough. I mean, I'm lucky that the school has a great reputation. Um, and so I think naturally we get a lot of students applying first for the academics. They want to come to Champlain. They know it fits, it ticks all the boxes for them. Um, from a strictly sort of athletic perspective, man, it's hard because a lot of those people, they would have reached out in a normal year. They'd reach out, I'd invite them to drop in at a practice, or we'd have some way of interacting, and they can kind of get a feel for it. And now it's I think everything's going on reputation. We're kind of talking to athletes based on the reputations of the programs they come from and the coaches they're coming from, and I think we're kind of riding on that as well. We're relying on people knowing the programs and knowing the academics at Champlain and the athletics at Champlain, and just kind of going,
Hmm.
well, I guess that's where I want to go.
Right, no, for sure. When you look at your squad, had there been a season this year, how do you think this would have unfolded for you guys? Because we're at the end of the calendar year for February, which is now tournament time, provincial time,
You're
nine that
killing
comes
me,
with
Mo.
it. Well, Coach, that's the thing, right? That's why we're asking these hard hitting questions, right?
So we had, when I joined the program years ago, 8 years ago, 9 years ago, something like that. I think the women's volleyball were kind of happy to just be there, and we were ending up really at the kind of the very bottom of the league. That's sort of where they had been, and that's where they stayed. And we worked hard and had a vision and built the program up, and started playing in higher and higher pools and facing tougher and tougher competition, to the point where we had tournaments where we were beating the top teams in the league, and we finished the highest that the team has in, I think, anyone's recent memory. Um, so it was really devastating that we had this momentum, and we had maybe the best batch of athletes we've had, as a whole, including their kind of cohesiveness, that we've ever had. So, my hopes were every year we were bumping up 3, 4, 5 spots in the rankings, and yeah, I fully saw this team going to provincials, and giving the perennial top three a real hard time. So it was tough to let this season and just go by.
Not to look too far ahead, Coach. I mean, do you think, and not to say it would take a step back, though, But is it sort of going back to point A to get back to point C, given that, again, it's that lost year, that development of the first and second year kids that would have been going into their third year had they been able to play so for next season?
I mean, I guess we'll see, you know, a lot of what we work on and what we've really sort of fought to build over time is the reputation of the program, to get, you know, for the kids to want to come here. You know, I know that some of the programs that are established, like basketball, they're sought out, but, you know, my sport wasn't. So, you know, we fought hard to do that. I think a lot of coaches fight hard to build a team culture. It's something that you don't think of. It's not just about, you know, drafting the right people. You got to build a team culture and get them all working together. And when you have that, and then kind of go, well, they're not even going to be here next year to sort of usher in the next generation. Yeah, it's worrisome. You know, I'm confident that the veterans that we have that'll be carrying over saw enough of that. They felt enough of it. We had enough time together for them to get it, and that we won't lose it. But yeah, that's a challenge for sure.
For your staff, have you challenged the women's team with all this time when we get to warmer weather, right? When we get to spring and summer, is it a matter of giving them workout programs to make sure that they're doing their stuff on the side to get themselves in shape for training camp?
They've been good, man. They've been good, like doing the home workouts. We were just chatting the other day with the girls online, and joking about, you know, some of them are saying, man, if we got to find a beach court somewhere in the snow, if I got to put on snow pants to play volleyball, I'm going to do it.
Right.
So, you know, they're really chomping at the bit, and, you know, they've stayed, I think, in shape enough, and we've got enough time, assuming we're kind of back at things sometime in the spring or easing back into it. You know, I think we'll be okay. And like I said, the team has been doing online work with our performance training center. So not too much rust, I'm hoping.
In your mindset, you have this plan, right? You mentioned before, when you first came in, it's sort of at the bottom of the rung. Now it's working itself up. Do you have a plan where you think you can upend the blue bloods of Quebec volleyball and Cégep world?
Oh yeah, that's the objective. That's it for sure. You know, that was part of the plan, and, you know, I think we've gotten respect from some of those teams that, you know, they didn't see our names on the tournament rosters for years and years and years, and all of a sudden we're up there and taking sets against them, and, you know, really pushing them. And yeah, that's absolutely the plan. We're coming. You know, I'm not going to be happy until we are up there and stay up there. So yeah, disrupting the sort of the, you know, perennial top is absolutely the goal. That's what I want.
The British term that they use is crash without apology.
Yeah, that's it.
Crash without apology.
I mean, it's been a long time coming. Like
right.
It's not like we came out of nowhere. You know, we've been slowly kind of creeping up the ranks. But yeah, that's what we want for sure.
That should be the slogan, right? Crash without apology for you guys.
I like it. I got some T-shirts made, Mo. Thanks.
There you go. Look, Coach, I've had the privilege to call the Canadian women's team when they played in Chateauguay. I think it was in 2019. I think it was when they played in Chateauguay against Puerto Rico, and seeing that level of volleyball was fantastic. And how the conviction, the purchase that they had on the court, the flow was phenomenal. In the sense of where we are in Quebec with this sport, where does Quebec rank in terms of the talent pool of volleyball players across Canada?
Oh, that's a really good question, and it's not one that I'm convinced that I'm the best person to answer. But you know, there's definitely a program, as you put it. You know, the Blue Bloods. There's a very I think there's a very set path for those players. There's very strong programs out west and in Ontario where it's a real big thing. Here, I think, you know, we have a lot of sport études programs and concentrations that are producing good talent. I think they're all kind of being funneled through the same lines right now, and that's another thing that, you know, happy to disrupt. But you know, I think we've got some great players. It's probably not quite on par with the rest of the country just yet. Maybe because of the limited basin that we're pulling from, but there's definitely some phenomenal talent.
when you look forward now, we're about a month away from spring. What do you forecast to see happening with volleyball? Do you think it'll be back in the fall where we could hopefully, knock on wood, fingers crossed, have a proper season in place? The sense I'm getting from various coaches across Quebec is that, fingers crossed, we hope to see our sport back in full swing in some sort of world of ours that we're in right now.
Look, I think everyone is hoping that we're going to get there, and it's something that I think it's not a contact sport. It's one of the only sports where basically, you never really touch your opponents, right? You're always divided by the net, and we were able to run through the summer, practices under a lot of restrictions, but we're able to do that, and the athletes are great. They're disciplined about it, and they really care. We don't have to police that too much. So I would love to see a gradual. I honestly feel like we could run practices now in a very limited capacity and be completely safe. I'd love to see it back so that over the summer we can get back that momentum and be in full swing by fall and hopefully have a season.
Just quickly here, Coach, in general, volleyball, could that be a sport, as you mentioned before, right? The spacing involved. That could be one of the first sports to be brought back into play, given again. It's not like football or basketball where there's a lot of close contact, but you can do the practices and eventually have a tournament or two along the way.
It is definitely my feeling. I mean, that's my opinion. I think that's been supported by Volleyball Quebec and some of the various federations, where it was a sport that was brought back and was allowed to function with restrictions earlier than sports like basketball, where we're sort of back at a full 6 on a side kind of thing. It's my personal opinion, I guess, that we really could get it back, maybe restrict, spectators and things like that. But, to have six athletes on a court is plenty of space. And I think there's a way to do it safely.
Last question for you, Coach. Looking towards your next group of Cavaliers that will play for you, whenever that might be, can they crash without apology the higher ranks of Quebec volleyball when we get back to playing next year, hopefully?
Crash without apology. I love that. And yeah, I think so. And, the hope is high, and we've got, we had a great group of recruits, and even talking to some of the university coaches, they recruited people who they haven't even seen play yet, and we're sort of in the same situation. But yeah, I've got high hopes. I think the program has just gotten better. We're attracting better athletes. We've gotten better as a coaching staff and as a program. So absolutely, I think that's the objective. If we didn't believe it, time to move on, I guess.
Of course, Coach. Well, Coach, thank you very much for joining us here on Cavaliers Corner. Look, it's been a tough year for all of us, worldwide. And look, like as I said before, fingers crossed we'll have sports come next fall in October, where we can all physically see each other again, and hopefully not to do the elbows, but do handshakes, hopefully.
Oh, man.
Back in normalcy, some sort for next year coming forward.
Indeed. I hope so. Thanks a lot, Mo. Appreciate your time.
Take care.
All right, take care.